Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas.
Before the break, I asked you a quick question. How many marshals are needed at Kyalami racetrack on race day? The answer is 120. It's made up of operational marshals, flag marshals, fire and rescue marshals, incident marshals, observers, and post chiefs.
The Pre-66 Sports and GTs joined forces with the Pre-74 ISPs for round one of the Midas Historic Tour here at Kyalami. Some great-looking cars there ready to do battle.
It's a 1970 Datsun 240Z. I brought the car from the US. It came in, it was not in a good state, so we decided to build a race car from it. Today it's a collector's item all over the world. It's the car that really started it all for Datsun in sports cars. The age of a car is actually pretty quick. If you take into mind this car is a 1970, that gives you, 35 years, that is old. And we did a 55 here at Kyalami with it today, so we are very, very happy with that lap time. It's a sort of lap time that a production car did about 5 to 8 years ago, so we are very pleased with that. The engine was built by Henny van der Linde. It's very smooth, very powerful. The gearbox is also a period gearbox. We sourced that from Tremec. The rear axle is a Subaru rear axle, which is identical to the original Datsun stuff. So we are very happy with the car, technically and with the speed, yes.
Let's have a look at how the drivers will line up. Leading them away will be Colin Clay in his wonderful Genie Racing Lola. He's followed by Neil Lobb in the Lyle Can-Am. Henny Groenewold will be driving Carl Pienaar's Datsun 240Z, and George Avakomides in his Ocean Basket Porsche starts at 9th. Under starters' orders, red lights are off, and away they go. A good start there by the poleman Colin Clay. The Ocean Basket Porsche has also made a good start as George Avakomides powers his way past Colin Frost. Avakomides follows Uli Sana in the Team Climax Racing BMW 3.5 CSL through turn 1 and 2. Running in 4th place behind the Chevron B8 of his brother is Mark du Toit in the Trans-Africa Racing Lola T70 Spider. He has Henny Groenewold and Uli Sana right behind him. George Avakomides has the Flamingo with Jeffrey Kruger at the wheel hanging off his bumper. Into sunset the field streams. Colin Clay looks to have the race in control very early on. Porsche 917 of Colin Frost looks down the inside of George Avakomides as they head out of sunset and up towards Clubhouse. Frost makes his move and passes the Porsche 911 RSR. Barreling into turn 1, and Groenewold has the inside line alongside Sana. Down they go, and Groenewold maintains his position ahead of Sana, who has Colin Frost bearing down behind him. The Datsun a lot more nimble than the BMW behind him. Rounding sunset, we have the Lyle Can-Am of Neil Lobb, followed by the Chevron B8 of Jonathan du Toit. The three-way battle for 5th position makes its way around sunset. Colin Frost on the inside makes the pass on Uli Sana, and up to Clubhouse they go. Henny Groenewold will need to be alert now as Colin Frost is right behind him. Clearing the crest up to Westbank, and Frost dives down the inside. Groenewold giving him room, and he moves down to 6th position. The Lola T70 in 4th position goes through the bowl. Colin Frost leads the battle behind him with Groenewold and Sana running side by side. Uli Sana dives up the inside of Groenewold, and the pair run side by side heading up the hill towards turn 13. Sana has got the inside line though, and he should take their position from Groenewold, which he does. But the question is, for how long? A little bit of tyre smoke coming out there from Groenewold, and he is on the limit trying to stay with the big BMW. Exhaust smoke there from Colin Frost, and that's never good. A big puff of it coming out of the car as he was gearing up. Colin Frost decides to pull over to the right and has to retire his Porsche 917. Coming down to turn 1, we have Herman Klucher in the red, blue and white Porsche 911 RSR, followed by Shane Frost in the Golf livery GT40. Round turn 2 and up to 3 and 4. Shane Frost is right on Klucher's bumper. Round they go, and Frost takes the inside line. Jeffrey Kruger follows him through, and the pair leave Klucher choking on their fumes. Neil Lobb in the Gunston-coloured Lyle Can-Am leads the Chevron B8 of Jonathan du Toit over the start-finish straight and into another lap. Henny Groenewold, meanwhile, is retiring the Datsun 240Z. Up at Westbank, it looks like Neil Lobb has spun the Lyle Can-Am. What a close call there for Lee Sonner as Lobb makes his way across the track. Sonner almost collecting Lobb. Lobb must have been looking down to see what was going on with the car and didn't see the BMW approaching. Lobb seems to be battling to get the Lyle Can-Am going again as other comedies sails past. Whatever the issue was, Lobb seems to have sorted it out, or it is not too serious enough to affect him as he continues with another lap and doesn't pull into the pits. Jeffrey Kruger dives up the inside of both Frost and Lobb as he heads onto the start-finish straight, picking up 2 positions in the Flamingo. The superior power of the Lyle Can-Am down the straight is what is going to move him back ahead of Kruger and keep him there. The two youngsters, Shane Frost and Jeffrey Kruger, are having a tremendous battle. GT40 versus Flamingo as they head up towards turn 3 and 4. Kruger determined not to let the GT40 get away. Kruger dives down the inside of Frost and Lobb again. The agility of the Flamingo is superb, but the straight line speed of the Lyle Can-Am fights back. Through the corners is where Jeffrey Kruger really has the advantage, and he's making the most of it, challenging Lobb for that position once again. Uli Sonner pulling the Batmobile over at the end of the pit lane, and he looks to be retiring the BMW from this race. Colin Clay has had a rather quiet race up at the front, with no one really challenging his position. He has been able to drive a cool, calm and collected race thus far. Uli Sonner seems to have got his BMW 3.5 CSL going again. He will be hoping to drive it around slowly to get a finish. Colin Clay coming up to lap the MPT Sports of Dennis McBeath as they head towards the S's. He's also rapidly approaching the slow-moving BMW of Uli Sonner. Into the last corner comes our race leader Colin Clay in the Genie Racing Lola, and he will take the checkered flag for the victory here in the Pre-66 Sports and GTs and Pre-74 ISP categories. Herman Klucher leads Shane Frost through the bowl for the last time. Frost is not giving up though, and he holds onto the back of Klucher as they climb up to turn 13. Down they come to the final bend. Klucher has the inside line and Frost has a look down the outside. He isn't close enough though. He slingshots across and moves to the left of the track as they race to the finish line. Klucher beats Frost to the flag by just under 0.3 of a second. Great dice to the line. Looking at the results, and it's Colin Clay with a comfortable victory ahead of Jonathan and Mark du Toit. Despite his woes, Neil Lobb went on to finish 4th, and George Ovacomedes in the Ocean Basket Porsche came home in 5th.
Yeah, we had a good race one. Finished third in the end. We put the P66 together with ISP today. So I was chasing down the front running cross. It was fantastic. I love the Lola. You know, it's a big powerful car and turret tyres and a lot of fun to drive. Track's good, good conditions today. Unfortunately, the rain came down now in the afternoon. Race 2's been cancelled. The rain, most of the guys are on slicks, so cars are valuable and we don't want to risk them in the rain.
Join us after the break for some great Formula Ford action from the Midas Historic Tour.